All right, let's bring in William Brennan. He is a former Trump payroll corporation attorney. He also represented then-President Trump during his second impeachment trial. Bill, it's good to have you here. Welcome.
John, Jillian, thanks for having me.
You know, anytime there's a comptroller on the stand, you put on your green visor and you start to really get down into the weeds in terms of these numbers. I mean, we're talking about terms like payments to Cohen were grossed up to cover the taxes that he would have had to pay, whether or not these were reported to the IRS, whether or not Trump approved them, whether there was any link to Trump. You know all about this stuff. Dig into it and tell us, what has the prosecution unveiled, and have they made any salient points?
Well, John, it's not as nefarious as it may sound or seem. I mean, you have to remember that the Trump organization and its subsidiaries, they're privately held companies. It's really a family business on steroids. So it's not anything really out of the ordinary that when the president was the president, that he would have to sign checks from his personal account. Mr. McConney, as I recall, having dealt with him in the case that I handled before Judge Merchan, worked for the organization, I think, for 30-some years.
Yeah.
He was there long. That's what's amazing is these employees stay forever. Mr. Weisselberg, I think, was there 38 years. But I haven't heard anything yet that jumps off the page. There's no smoking gun here. And the most important thing to remember, aside from the fact that the president's presumed innocent, is that the prosecution has kind of cobbled this case together with duct tape and zip ties and, you know, to get to this second crime. All this could have occurred, as they say it did. But if it wasn't motivated to commit a second crime, either election fraud or some type of election finance fraud, the case goes out the window.
So the judge also said today that the penalties, the financial penalties, are clearly not having the intended effect on Trump. For the gag order, he said he might just have to throw him in jail. How much time is this judge likely considering?
Well, Judge Merchan's in a tough spot. Having spent the better part of 2 months with him, I mean, he suffers no fools. He's the real deal. And I think he would, if he felt it was necessary, impose a jail sentence. Having said that, this is the first time we've had a former president of the United States as a criminal defendant. So I'm hoping he can make his point with the measures he's taken. But he could put this defendant in for, say, a day and have the same chilling impact that 30 days would have. And frankly, it gets a little unruly after a day because you've got Secret Service and security issues. But when you're talking about this particular defendant, a day, a month, it really sends the same message.
Yeah, if Trump goes to jail, the Secret Service goes to jail with him. I think we should point out. But there's a sense that if Merchan were to throw him in jail, that he would probably add 5 to 8 points to his popularity ratings.
It's the way it's been going. But I really think that the president has been compliant with the gag order since the first set of sanctions, 9 out of 10. I think that you must remember, these allegations, these most recent 4, I think it is, were made while those were pending. Yeah. It's not like that ruling came down and then he flouted it.
If I could, where I was going with the question was totally in a different direction. You said that you've argued before Judge Merchan.
Yes.
You said he was the real deal.
He is.
Trump says he's a conflicted judge who's letting in all sorts of evidence that should never see the light of day.
Running a kangaroo court.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not the president's lawyer in this case. I've had the opportunity to represent the president in his second impeachment and in a payroll tax case before this judge. But my personal opinion of Judge Merchan, he treated me very well. He was a gentleman. He's smart. He works hard. And I really don't. It's above my pay grade to get into political issues. I have no political agenda. As a lawyer who's been knocking around this country for 3.5 decades trying criminal cases, pleasure to work in front of him. And frankly, that prosecution team, a number of those people, Steinglass was on our case. He's a pro. You know, it's just so much easier when the judge is a pro and the prosecution team are professionals. We do our job.
All right.
That's refreshing to hear. Thanks for bringing us that background.
Sure.
That's something we get a lot.
We may hear from the former president about that.
Oh, I may hear from the former president about that.
Bill, thanks for coming in. Really
thanks for having us, John.
Thank you.
Jillian, thank you.